Hey there. So, picture this. You're sitting there with your textbook open, but your mind's a million miles away. Phone's blowing up with notifications, stomach's growling, and you're low-key wondering if you should just ditch your degree and become a professional dog walker instead. Been there, right? Here's the thing. Almost everyone studies the wrong way. Most people just stare at their notes for hours without anything actually sticking. But what if I told you there's a better way? One where you learn faster, remember more, and still have time to binge that show everyone's talking about? Let me share some real strategies that have helped me and tons of my friends. These work whether you're cramming for finals, learning something new for work, or just want to pick up a new skill without wasting time. Working with your brain, not against it. So our brains are pretty smart about conserving energy. They're not exactly lazy, they're efficient. When you sit down with no real plan except study for hours, your brain basically puts up a not interested sign. Instead, try this. Just commit to 15 minutes. Seriously, tell yourself, I'm just going to focus hard for 15 minutes, then I can stop if I want. The beauty is, once you get going, you'll often keep rolling because starting was the hardest part. Quick tip that's helped me tons. Write down exactly what you're going to accomplish in those minutes. Not study biology, but understand the 3 stages of cellular respiration and draw out the process. Being specific tricks your brain into seeing it as doable. Focus on what actually matters. Let's be honest, not everything in your textbook is equally important. Some concepts show up on every test, while others are just there. What's worked for me is looking at past exams or assignments first. What keeps coming up? What does your professor emphasize in class? Those are your gold nuggets, the stuff worth focusing on. Try this before you dive into studying. Take a practice test cold. Yes, you'll probably bomb it, but you'll immediately see what you don't know yet. Then you can target those areas instead of wasting time on stuff you've already got down. Getting in the zone. You know that feeling when you're so locked in that time just flies by? That's the zone we want, and there's actually a simple rhythm to get there. What works for me is 25 minutes of real focus. Phone away, notifications off, just you and the material. Then take a quick 5-minute break to stretch. Check your phone, whatever. Repeat this a few times, then take a longer break of about 20 to 30 minutes. This isn't just random. It actually matches how our brains naturally pay attention. You avoid that zombie state where you've been studying for hours but haven't processed anything. Something that helps me get in that zone faster. I have a specific playlist I only use for studying. When those first few notes hit, my brain knows it's time to lock in. The explain it to me method. Ever notice how when you try to explain something to someone else, you suddenly realize the gaps in your own understanding? That's not a coincidence. Try this. Pick something you're studying and explain it out loud as if you're telling a friend who knows nothing about it. When you get stuck or start using vague terms, that's your signal. Those are the parts you need to revisit. I actually use my phone to record myself explaining concepts sometimes. It feels weird at first, but listening back to myself helps me catch the places where I'm not as clear as I thought, making it stick. Here's the thing about memory. Your brain strengthens connections when you have to work to recall information, not just when you passively review it. Instead of just rereading your notes, which feels productive but isn't, try closing your book and writing down everything you remember about the topic. Then check what you missed. Flashcards are great too, but only if you're actually testing yourself with them. Don't just flip through reading both sides. One thing that's been a game changer for me, after I learn something new, I immediately think of a personal example or connection, like relating chemical bonds to relationships between people. Sounds cheesy, but creating those connections makes the information way more memorable. Taking care of your brain. This part isn't fancy, but it might be the most important. Your brain needs 2 things to process information well: good sleep and movement. When you sleep, your brain actually organizes and stores what you learned during the day. That's why pulling all-nighters is pretty much the worst study strategy. You're learning stuff, but not giving your brain a chance to file it properly. And about exercise, even a quick 10-minute walk can significantly boost your focus and memory. When I'm stuck on a tough concept, a quick walk around the block often helps me come back with fresh eyes. Putting it all together. So here's your friend-to-friend advice for studying smarter. Start with short, specific commitments instead of marathon sessions. Figure out what's actually important and focus there first. Work in focused bursts with proper breaks. Test your understanding by explaining concepts out loud. Challenge yourself to recall information. Don't just review it. Take care of your brain with good sleep and some movement. Here's my challenge to you. Just try one of these approaches in your next study session. That's it. Then drop a comment letting me know if it made a difference. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe to get more real talk about stuff that actually works. No fluff, no complicated systems, just practical advice from one student to another. Remember, it's not about grinding harder, it's about studying smarter. Catch you in the next one.